Guys, I think that Xenox has said it best here. It would probably be the biggest upset on a single planetary day we've ever seen.
It would be, yeah, no, it would certainly be up there. There'd be galactic shockwaves if they're able to win this particular match. And again, it's not us trying to be particularly negative or rude or anything like that. It's
Absolutely
just
not.
purely statistically based. Knock Knock have certainly had some teething issues throughout the stage. Some would maybe even go as far as to say they were, quote unquote, lucky to make top 6, although I think that would be a little bit harsh. I mean, you look at things like their attack win percent and defense, 26 and 45% respectively. So unfortunately, against Elevate, who have far stronger numbers in that regard, we're going to really have to see the absolute best version of Knock Knock that we've seen throughout the stage across potentially 3 maps. So it's a big task for them.
Yeah, all I'll get you to do, have a look at the EPS here, and now when we move over to Elevate, let's transition to that graphic, you can see the very clear difference. Only one player below that 100 EPS rating versus, unfortunately, all 5 from Knock Knock. Elevate have been very decent, Xenox, coming into this, but they haven't been totally convincing.
No, they haven't. And, interesting stats here as I kind of look at their numbers behind the scenes. They're not top 2 in attack win rate. They're not top 2 in defensive win rate. They're not top 2 either when it does come to some other statistics. Where they are good somewhat is entries and plants, which is kind of interesting considering their attack win rate, as I said, is not top 2. It is 3rd, but I think this is a roster, for all intents and purposes, that isn't, again, reliant on a singular individual. Maybe in the olden days, like 2-3 years ago, you could look at someone like a Speakeasy and put him as that superstar. But in this roster, no. I mean, we've honestly seen all of these guys pop off, have their moment, had their time to shine. This is a roster that I think on their day can certainly probably beat anyone. Is that fair to say? Maybe not bleed in a best of 3, but like they're at that kind of level. And Carl's been at least leading the way when it does come to KDs. But entries is where very much they have their strong suit. That's something that is going to give them a big edge over this Knock Knock team. I imagine they should win this 2-0, and then their match against Fury is going to be, I think, a one you don't want to miss.
No, absolutely not. I don't think that it's a miss to say that they could potentially beat everyone in a BO3. I think even going up against the likes of Bleed, Elevate on their day, guys, they have shown that they are well and truly a part of that conversation. They have shown that they can beat Bleed, and that they are well and truly in this conversation for the Manchester Major. But it does start here, and that's probably the most important part. We want to see them get off to a good start in their BO3s. We want to see them bounce back off of yesterday and kind of just dust that aside before we really get to the semi-final. And I think maybe, guys, this might actually be something I'd like your thought on. It's probably best that they actually have to go through a quarterfinal first. Maybe get that BO3 under their belt in a competitive setting.
I mean, potentially, right? Use this as a bit of a warm-up moment for them, get into the flow of the best of 3, and some of the additional challenges that come with that, as well as the veto as well. In terms of head-to-head and players to watch in this matchup, looking at 2 of the higher-rated players across both rosters, and Heikel has had a standout season, came into the team, and we were questioning as to whether or not he would stand up at this level of play. Clearly has been the case. A really strong cost as well, which stands him out from other players, even outside of this particular match. For Sandy as well, still posting good numbers, but as you can see, huge difference in EPS, and equally big differential in terms of that KD split as well. So it goes to show that these are 2 teams on 2 completely different tiers, hence why Elevate go in as strong favorites.
Yeah, nearly double the KD, which is, I think, a little mortifying considering the fact that this is a new gunner. Having a phenomenal debut so far. I believe the maps are ready. If not, I've just thrown production under the bus, but we can start talking about them in any capacity. Xenox, it will be hard to, I guess, spin this positively for Knock Knock. It's going to be very difficult against an Elevate that's seen well and truly practice.
Yeah, I mean, we're not sitting here saying that there's going to be a particular map in which Knock Knock is going to need to get, for example, if they're going to find a map. It's hard pressed to say that there's going to be any map in which Knock Knock are going to be favored over Elevate. That's just the reality of the situation here. So for them, what's the best case scenario would be, honestly, something like a Clubhouse in which they were competitive against Chalet. that's probably something they can kind of look to. We go and have a look at some of the previous results for Knock Knock, somewhat competitive against Direwolves back on Chalet. That's another one in which they could maybe aim for. Their win against the Sib Warriors, that was on Border. So it's not as if they haven't got a map pool. That's 3 different maps that I've just named, of which none of them have actually been banned out. That already might actually be somewhat of a good sign for Knock Knock, in that they can go to some maps, Border, Chalet, Club, they've had good results on in the group stage.
Let's have a look at where we're going for the first map. We're going Oregon.
And they go against the Grain, and they go to Oregon, the map they got 7-1'd on by Fury last week.
And they'll let Chalet through, and Elevate will pick it next. 3, 2, 1. There you go. Yeah, okay, they've already won the veto.
What's the last map going to be, guys?
Last map's irrelevant anyway, because it's going to be a 2-0. The thing is, Knock Knock, as mentioned by Jake, like, the maps are largely going to be irrelevant in a matchup which was already shown statistically the teams are so far on different tiers that you can make an argument that Elevate should be winning on all 9 maps anyway. I will say that the 2 maps that got let through, very intriguing. Oregon and Chalet have been played a lot by Elevate with success. I suppose to an extent Knock Knock must just feel comfortable on them, otherwise I'd be insta-banning them. Clearly they don't want to play the 4 maps before, in particular Cafe and Consulate, a map where Elevate actually got 7-0'd by Fury earlier on in the stage, so clearly one that Knock Knock just aren't comfortable on, otherwise we probably would have seen that selected. As you can see, Border as that potential decider, but Oregon Chalet played a lot by Elevate, they've looked good on them, and I don't see any reason why this changes the discussion from a 2-0.
So the start sides there, by the way, were wrong. Just want to reiterate. So Knock Knock will actually be defending first in terms of Oregon, even though they picked it. And then for the side of Chalet, Elevate will also be defending first. Thought I'd just clarify there, as the little spinning things were the wrong way around.
And just trying to digest that. So, okay, fair enough. That's irrelevant from... Sorry, I'm looking at the explanation as to how the veto's panned out. Irrelevant for now. We've got Oregon, we've got Chalet, then we're going to Border. Boys, you can keep reading if you want to. But I think the fundamental fact of the matter is someone's going to do it. I'm not going to do it. I'll just fumble my throws. That's typically what they get me in for. It's what they pay me the big bucks for, unfortunately.
I want to know, though, Rob, what's it going to take? What are the win conditions for Knock Knock to win this? Like, quite literally. Is it just a case of, like, PC issues for Elevate? Like, 4 versus 5, and they just carry on?
Maybe 3 versus 5 might be best. Maybe just walk in and unplug, Shed and MCs, because I'm pretty sure they're playing in the same building. So just unplug their power and away we go. No, but seriously, this is a good opportunity for Knock Knock. They need to take this. It is a best of 3. This is where they can start to, gain some form, gain some momentum heading into stage 2, which is a few months away. But let's go ahead and jump into Oregon with Devin Mandy.
Bubbity bim, bubbity boom. We're getting into Oregon. Mandy, it's our first time casting tonight, and unfortunately, it could be a quick 2-0 if Guz and Xenox's analysis is to be correct.
I have a feeling their analysis is pretty good here, to be honest. Knock Knock, they really looked like they've struggled. I think they got fairly lucky. I feel like the stars aligned in that 3-way tie on the final play day for them to have enough rounds. Actually, I don't know. I don't think the stars aligned because they got their last point in that play day. They had fate in their hands. Fate could still not be in their hands today, but it's a tough battle. Elevate good.
It is. It is. Elevate are very good, and Knock Knock, they picked Oregon, and as the guys on the desk said, they got 7-1 on this map last week by Fury, and believe it or not, they also got 7-1 on this map by Elevate in their first match in the stage. So... Elevate going back to the map where they last played Knock Knock, where they destroyed them on it, and Knock Knock are the ones that chose to go here. Well, at least Knock Knock have chosen defense, and that does give them some comfort, I suppose. I'm actually going to go and have a quick looky look at the game. So that game, actually, funnily enough, they didn't win a single defense round in that game. They won their attack, and they won 1 out of 6 of their attacks. And then they lost both of their defenses. So, I don't know how to spin this one, Mandy, in a way that sounds positive. But Knock Knock kind of...
Oh, okay. I thought you were going for a joke there, because you said knock knock and then you did like a pause, and I was like, who's there? And then...
Oh, that's smart. Alright, I'll try that again. Knock Knock
Who's the...
Elevate's here, and they're gonna take the map. Surely this should be a one-sided game. There's no way.
God.
I mean, I can't spin it. Like, it's actually so ballsy from Knock Knock. Like, so brave to go to the map. They've been 7-1 on twice. Like, yeah, they beat Hasib Warriors. That's cool. They got 1 point off of Jalita. That's kind of cool. Maybe less cool now that we've seen Jalita go down in the quarterfinals. But yeah, I just don't know how to spin this one any way that isn't the obvious.
Yeah, neither do I, to be honest. I think this one should be a pretty straightforward game, all things considered, unless Knock Knock have really gone back and done some pretty advanced homework in the last 24 hours since they won their match yesterday. Well, they didn't even win their match yesterday. They got 1 point off their match yesterday.
Exactly, yeah.
Yeah, it was to Jalita, right? Yesterday as well. Oh, no, it wasn't. It was, yeah, to a Jalita who look relatively weak, I think we would say, especially after their loss to Direwolves as well. And I think Elevate are a much greater Titan than they are at the moment.
Well, Elevate have their work cut out for them. Going against Knock Knock, this should be a map win for them. However, they had poor form yesterday when they lost to Direwolves, so we'll see if Elevate continue that form and continue to struggle on Oregon. And the game is about to begin, guys. You're lucky. You guys are so lucky back home. Can I just say that? We were about to go to a break, Maddie. We were legit about to go to a break.
Really?
And these poor viewers at home. Yeah, I was like spinning up a point to transition into a break, and then I just heard, no, don't go to a break. We're starting the game. And guess what, Mandy? We're starting the bloody game. It's time to dig into Oregon. Knock Knock have said, look, we might have sucked on this map in the past, but we saw Elevate lose it to Direwolves yesterday, so we're going to go to it. The Have Fun's come out in the chat, and onus is on Knock Knock to make good on this promise.
Alrighty, here we go. Ban phase is going out, and Knock Knock are not going to ban Monty straight away. You know what? That is fair enough, to be honest. But if you watched the VOD yesterday, Elevate trying to play Monty, you would learn that Direwolves had a pretty good solution for that Monty. So Knock Knock probably not willing to bring along the absorbent amount of impacts and lesion as Direwolves were yesterday, but nevertheless it gets banned out. And what that does mean is that all of our hard breach has slipped through the ban phase for the side of the attack. So Hibana's on the board, Maverick's on the board, so open up all your hatches, your walls should be fairly simple.
Very much so. Henry is banned out, Valkyrie is banned out, Mira is in. Mira really has come back into the meta on Oregon, Mandy. I wonder if it's because of the new counters to her with obviously Ashe, Kali. Technically Zero, not that anyone does it, all countering the Mira now. Yeah, we see a lot more Mira these days.
Yeah, it's interesting. I suppose with the amount of good defenders that are still in, you have to ban out the greater evil. And these days, Mira is not one of the greater evils when you pair it up against your likes of Azami, Fenrir. In this case, it's Fenrir and Valkyrie, in fact, and so it has slipped through. Nevertheless, it's not being picked out, so it don't matter. That is alright.
Well, I like this Warden pick. I think the Capital is going to be an important one to have a counter for, particularly with the smokes. Twitch will often have smokes as well. Funnily enough, yeah, no Mira here. Azami's always a bit of a tough one to deal with, but you got Flores, you got the Ashe. I do wonder if there's going to be any roam here. What do we reckon? Like, out of these ops, probably no need to roam. You can just play heavy time delay. Smoke, Goyo, Kaid, all going to delay that time.
Well, it looks like Knock Knock are posturing up to at least hold onto the ground floor for a little bit longer through the early round. But they want to play it safe. Oh, except for Envy, who's looking for a spawn peek round one. You know what? I can respect that. That's fine. Try and surprise Elevate here, although no one is going to come around to the shower hallway. He's actually going to go for the peek out onto Small Tower as well. This guy is brave.
Respect it. I respect the gusto to keep up that high energy right at the start. Also, Sandy, I believe that is Sandy on the other side. He does have the ACOG as well, that magnified scope. So he's going to be able to contest this long angle. Thing is, Enhaikal has cut off his retreat. Now there is a drone in this position. He's just going to wait for him to retreat. Like, he doesn't actually need to try and go for the kill. Let's stay on Enhaikal here. Like, he is going to get this. No, never mind. He left the cutoff, and that did enable the retreat. So, I mean, I understand what he was going for there. I do think he probably should have just had someone watching the cutoff. Meanwhile, though, Knock Knock's actually found their first pick and managed to fall back.
Good stuff from them so far on what was a pretty light and safe roam, all things considered. Deciding to fall back early on was the right choice. Trying to capitalize now on this early pick, and Rattler's going to get away safely from Big Tower as well. Nevertheless, on the side of Elevate, they still have the tools that are necessary to work their way into the mid-round now. The Maverick still being up for Speakeasy does mean that E-Hatch is going to be open eventually. On top of that, they've got their execute-heavy operators as well in the Capitao and the Twitch to start to do work, trying to remote detonate some of those Goyo canisters on the bomb site and see what they can do from there.
The main concern for me is just being a player down in an execute. Always going to be really hard, Mandy. Attacking this bomb site is very hard at the best of times, especially with that Monty ban out from Knock Knock, which, by the way, awesome ban. We've seen Elevate be pretty good on it. It could be that Knock Knock have just done an unbelievable amount of prep work on Oregon. Because I'm sure Elevate were kind of like, huh? We're going to Oregon? This is a map that we like. And so, yeah, if Knock Knock have prepped for this and they end up coming away with success, I'd be massively impressed. From the top down, we saw, I believe that was a shield in the hallway get taken down. Thanks to the Rotero, that's nice.
Not bad progress here from Elevate. There's 40 seconds left to go in this situation. They are going to try and use the remaining Rotero drones and flashbangs to initiate themselves down into the basement, but the Warden is going to pay dividends here for Envy in his position inside a pillar. That will be the perfect operator to counter those.
Okay, so here we go. Speakeasy on for a drop, but the gas does make things awkward. Time low. Need to find an entry here. They need to find a pick. Not going to be able to execute with one player planting. There you go, that's the pick. And it's the Warden as well, which does open up the ability to use smokes. MC's found one. Numbers advantage for Elevate. Good swing, but no! The plant was denied at the last second by the smokes gas. And Knock Knock will win the round despite being in a numbers disadvantage. Very well played, utilizing that late round utility to its maximum.
If you go and win Oregon, you got to be winning your basements. That's what we like to say, right? And Knock Knock did exactly that. Elevate, yes, they made the early and mid-round work for them, but by the time they actually hit the execute, there's only about 20 seconds left to deal with it. And well, when there's that little time, that's where smoke really comes into shine, right? Being able to zone out the entire bomb site with the smokes, preventing the plants from going down. And essentially at that point, Elevate just could not find a safe spot to get the objective down or find the remaining Knock Knock players who are in some great positions, power positions on the other side of the bomb site, right? So really well played there from Knock Knock to keep their composure, especially after getting the man advantage early on. And now that's going to allow them to go up into this top floor bomb site and go for another attempt at the defense.
Top floor is not as much of a lock-in as the ground or basement floor, so who knows. I do think that Elevate almost read well into that early aggression. Again, I'm really nitpicky, but we were spectating in high cal for so long. He was on the perfect cutoff, and then as soon as he got off to try and put some pressure on the player that he was watching the retreat of, the player retreated, and he didn't get the kill. But he 100% would have got that kill if he stayed on that angle and someone else had kind of convinced the Goyo to leave.
And Haikal up here on the rappel onto Master, but no one to be met on the other side. There was initially a rotate over in closet, but that's been reinforced up since, and the rest of Knock Knock look like they're pretty safe on the bomb site for now. Other than potentially a player all the way over in Big Tower, since there was a rotation there as well, but I think that's been taken down. No, it hasn't. Never mind. MC from down below is going to take out Jittery for the first pick of the round.
Good start for Elevate. Always want that numbers advantage early on. He's very aggressive here, but this is going to be pretty solid now for MC. He's got the secondary hard breach. He can also get himself some information as well. Hang on a second! Ape on the back of an E1D has snuck himself straight into sight. Good trade, though, from Sandy. And no reply from Elevate on that one. Still, that is without a doubt a win for Elevate. The 3 versus 5, and Envy, he's forced back. Great usage of the zero there, not only to open up the wall, but also to take out the mute jammer that was preventing the wall from being opened.
Solid work so far to try and work some as out of control. Sandy, though, is going to claim one back to even up the man count now onto N High Cal. Nice headshot. Now he's going to support Envy in this crossfire all the way in pit. He gets his first, and Sandy's going to go for the swing and claim the second. 1 versus 3 now for Speakeasy. So much time, but little to work with. Rattler will take him down.
Yeah, things looked all right there for Elevate for a second, but yeah, at the end of the round, kills came out for Knock Knock. 2 rounds in a row, both I'm not going to say reasonably convincing, because even that first round, Mandy, it just came down to smoke denial. But a round is a round at the end of the day. Look, Elevate on the second rotation of these sites could very well take them. That was where that kill came out. Yeah, I missed that one at the time. I'm actually pretty impressed by Knock Knock so far. Like, they weren't caught out too poorly by the player at that snuck upstairs, Ape. Yeah, I think that Knock Knock are in for a bit of a treat here. I'm pretty excited at the prospect of them actually giving up a serious fight here on Oregon. They already have more rounds than they did last time they played Oregon. In fact, the last 2 times they played Oregon, they only got as many rounds as they've had so far. So
Yeah.
This is actually a pretty good sign.
Yeah, they're doing well so far on the defense. Like, honestly, they're playing a pretty solid defense here. They're not overextending or being overambitious with the strategies that they're bringing into the server. They're playing stuff that's like pretty like cutthroat, to be honest, pretty simple, but they're playing it well. And I think the fundamentals that they're bringing into the server is super good. Just then we saw 2 players team up to make the crossfire work through Attic, for example, that completely shut down one half the push. Sandy as well has been a massive playmaker for this team on Knock Knock 2. So if you're facing up in a 1 versus 1 against Sandy, you're probably going down, as the scoreline would probably show at the moment, right? So yeah, so far all the pieces are falling into place for Knock Knock.
Nice mute jammer is going to make this slower for N High Cal. Seen a lot of executes under this meeting. Bomb site across all regions. I was watching a bit of EUL the other day. Saw teams doing this as well. And yeah, they always seem to come from the lobby side, go from garage, go for this long angle breach. Ooh, it's tricked. Where'd that get tricked? Was that just a shot from Z? This is the danger, right? Like, you need to contest Z somehow to prevent the swing. And it is, I believe, Beat at the moment on the mute, who was just swinging that. I don't think he destroyed the second one.
So far, lobby control, sort of, in the hands of Elevate, with the garage opening that line of sight into meeting as well, and instead they're going to try and translate this push up into the top floor. NI Cal, diffuser in hand, he's going to do some drone work in through Master. At the same time, Ape and 2 of his teammates are going to shape up around Small Tower. Peculiar push here for Elevate. It does look like they are looking to land what seems like a mini execute in through the top floor, or maybe not. Maybe they're going to try and capitalize on this control that they have and try and do dining at the same time.
Tempting. It could be an overcomplication. That gas has slowed it down. Ape's back in. He's going straight up wide. It looks a little bit like last round. Surely he doesn't find the same freebie that he found last time. He almost does, but this player is just walking straight between his bullets. And Envy's gone in from around the corner and taken down N High Cal. Ape now desperate, but he does find 1 kill. That's nice. Looking for another on the close range. That nade is beautiful. It forces the swing from Envy. 3K from Ape. 1 versus 3 opportunity for Beat, but it really doesn't feel like an opportunity. It feels like a serious lock-in, as Elevate have plenty of time to sort this one out.
Yeah, really well planned attack there for Elevate, especially in through the early round. They really poshed themselves up to be able to translate the entry in through the top floor whilst getting lobby control sorted as well. That completely flushed players out of that position. Not only that, but then at the same time, making this push through the ground force simultaneously is now going to enable them this pretty crazy numbers advantage. 1 on 3. Beat is in a pretty precarious position here inside of green. It will be hard to isolate the gunfights from here. The C4 misses. Plan hasn't gone down there.
There you go. Final lockout. Good stuff from Elevate, but much needed, really, Mandy, right? Like, you can't be losing on your tertiary side, especially when Elevate are the favored team. I will say, like, they looked pretty energized on their cameras. They didn't look too tilted or anything. I think this is just a matter of Elevate now going back to the 2 bomb sites that they had some good things on, like particularly this basement. I think this basement looked pretty close last time. And if they can lock this out, maybe don't succumb to the early aggression, lose a player early, then I think that they'll have a pretty solid chance of redeeming this half, because a 2-4 would be way below par for Elevate, just considering how unbalanced we thought this match would be. Even if Knock Knock just hits the 4-2 split that you'd expect on defense, that tells you so much about how far they've come.
Yeah, absolutely. I think for Elevate, like I won't be shaking in my boots or anything by this situation. I just feel like there's nothing wrong that I think they've done, like nothing particularly wrong. I would say that is a big red flag at the moment in the way that they've been attacking Oregon. It just looks a bit slow paced, to be honest. And you know, there are some plays like this where Envy just slips through the cracks, that type of thing that I think they can probably keep tabs on, keep the pace up with these guys. Knock Knock are sort of notorious to be some weird playmakers, especially in through the mid round when you've got players like Sandy, like Envy willing to go for that kind of thing. So I think a little bit more caution being exercised by Elevate. They should have this down, which is why I can imagine that they're keeping this energy up and they're probably not too worried just yet, especially on their attacking half.
It's again quite aggressive. Not quite as much. Yeah, so Sandy's actually all the way back near meeting. So no one's contesting small tower this time. Except Beat is really tempted. I don't know, are they trying to bait here? Ooh! You hear that?
Maybe.
Yeah, he can hear... he heard he's still walking around inside, so he knows he's missed the beat.
And Hykal's going to sneak down White Stairs, though, having got top floor control in their hands. And he's going to try and catch this player in Zulu off guard, but it's the player that's rotated back into Freezer now. Nape's just around the corner, too. So potential double swing here on the player at the top of the Freezer stairs. Like, little do they know, he's actually on the left-hand side of that doorway. Maybe they do. Nevertheless, Jittery looks like he's going to reposition to the right side and will look to fall off. New Jammer setup in Zulu is actually quite interesting for this Jeff. It means that Jittery can sit in this off angle for a little bit longer and try and catch Elevate off guard. And they do look like they're struggling with it a little bit, which is why I think they're taking the time to make this vertical work on the stairs, or the vertical just above the stairs.
Still piece by piece being worked out here by Elevate. And I honestly think like they haven't done anything bad so far. No serious red flags. At time can be an issue, like you said, like castle barricades, all this util that comes at a time. Drop the smoke though, which ironically, the one operator that won Knock Knock the last round is one of the ones that they decided to drop. And Hykal's still worried about players roaming, like they haven't full droned everything. I like the fact that there's an electric law as well, protecting that player behind the shield at the bomb tuck on Laundry site. Upe should be able to drone him in a second. There you go, it's the Goyo of Sandy. And Elevate desperately needs some kind of util to come in and clear that. He's fully out of Ash Salmas, so it means the only real util we can have to clear that is Shed, and he's not gotten on his Rotero. I really hope that that Rotero is sent into that position. It is. We can see on the mini screen on the bottom right, the pip, and it has destroyed that shield, I believe.
I must say though, Dev, with so little time, it kind of feels like they're playing against the hands of Knock Knock a little bit here. These guys look pretty ready for a front side take, but 4 of the players are there. Just one of them is keeping tabs on the back. I'm feeling a little worried for Elevate. Oh, but nevertheless, they spring into action.
And they do! Beat is the last one left, but they know where he is. The diffuser has not been picked up, however, so they have to frag out, and they do go deep. Well played by Elevate. Yeah, he looked a bit rough for a second. Look at Shed's face. Look at Speakeasy. They're having a laugh about that one. But credit to them. They managed to pick apart that defense slowly but surely. And when it came to the dire moments, they knew how to go deep and make it work.
Yeah, I mean, really solid there from Elevate. I really did not expect them to be able to win it out from that situation. Yes, they had Freezer control afforded to them, and they did clear out the position, well, at least the shield position, right in the corner of the bomb. But I just thought there was so much redundancy in the player base of Knock Knock in that position on the map, facing towards the front side take, that they wouldn't be able to do it. But those Ying Hanzels just really landed in the right spots, deep into the bomb side. The Elevate players came through so simultaneously. It was really well timed. Yeah, Knock Knock full to a basement defense, which is not something that you see every day.
But what do we say, Mandy? When you win your basement defense, what do you get as your reward? You have to go back. And so, Knock Knock, well, I mean, they could go dorms. Where are they going back? Okay. Yeah. I don't know. I'm kind of 50-50 split for Knock Knock here. Like, Elevate actually had not only one, but actually 2 really close attacks onto that basement, like even that first round.
Yeah.
Even though Knock Knock won it, like I said, it was a clutch from the Smoke Babe, which, by the way, they brought back this round, for better or worse. I think this is almost the exact operator lineup we had on the first defense of this site. We just got the Wamai instead of the Goyo. And we are seeing a few spawn picks come through. I actually quite liked the Goyo, but with no mute, it does allow the Twitch to have a lot of rain. The real X factor here is Shed, though, on the Blitz.
Yeah, I mean, if you ban out the monster, you can't ban out the Blitz, right? You can only ban out one of the shields, but that's an early pick from Jittery all the way in through Zulu into Small Tower. Up A taken down early. That's the Ying going down as well, Dev. That's pretty important coming towards the execute. You want those Candelas up to be able to flash out the anchors on the bomb side and allow your entries to make their way on through, especially into the basement. What are you doing, mate? He's just gone for a run out on MC, caught in 4K. He gets up, takes the headshot, and Rattlers down. And it's the smoke too. What are you doing?
I'm just going to call that out. That is an objectively terrible play from Rattler. Like, I don't care what kind of a reward you think. Like, every play in Siege is a risk-reward balance, right? Like, I don't care what reward you think you're going to get. It's not as valuable as the 30 seconds that you're going to delay at the end of the round with smoke. And we saw that in the very first round because you won the round despite being a man down because of the smoke. So, yeah, that is a real shame for Knock Knock. Like, if any other player does that, it's okay. Not if it's the smoke. And some sites, maybe it doesn't matter as much. Here, it really does, and we've seen that. The proof's in the pudding. Like, Elevator's so thorough, and the only weakness to being thorough is that it bleeds time. And so Elevate now, they have an even numbers, which is nice, but they don't have to deal with that smoke.
Well, here goes the Blitz on Shed, like we spoke about earlier, straight in through Elbow. The reinforcement cannot be closed up, and he's going to go straight in through the rotation hole. Oh no support though from the rest of his team. That leaves N-High-Cal all on his own in a 1 versus 3 2K for Sandy on the round. It's not looking too good for Elevate.
Oh yeah, that was so risky from Shed. Like, you're walking into a crossfire, you're exposed to at least 3 angles, and you have to only pick one that your shield can be in front of. The rest of Elevate, I mean, that was just not, unfortunately, a well thought out execute. That's a nice shot, though. I don't know. N-High-Cal's pretty gamer. He could actually make this work, man.
Do you believe?
1v3. I kind of.
Have you heard the story?
Have you heard the tale of N-High-Cal? He was in a 1 versus 2, and he saw an opportunity. He couldn't tell where this player was. He tried to use an audio call. He ran at the corner and duped him, and therefore found the 3K. From this point, poor N-High-Cal was left with a choice, plant or not to plant. But he had the Bs from Grim, and Sandy had to move through them. N-High-Cal faked it and clutched the round! This guy is a living legend! The young gunner gets it done for Elevate!
I have heard the story, Dev, and you just told it to me. And Cal with the clutch of the century into the basement. Wow, the Bees really paid dividends there in the 1 versus 1 as well. Perfectly placed, knowing exactly where Sandy was inside a freezer and completely locking out the possible rotations there onto the bomb as well. Really well played 1 versus 3. That was very entertaining to watch.
Oh, wow. It was quite a moment. To be honest, I kind of didn't believe Mandy, but I changed my tune very quickly. And you gassing us up, you gassing N-High-Cal up, you setting me up for that, that made it happen. This guy played it so well, the Bees! Oh, genius, man. I love that from N-High-Cal. And despite Knock Knock going 2-1 up at the start, Elevate have well and truly pried their way back into this game and are now looking to tell a story, not the story of N-High-Cal, but the story that we expected out of today, which is Elevate looking to put Knock Knock away. Knock Knock, they gave it a really good shot, and also, as we briefly mentioned during the map veto phase, Knock Knock actually had a real gift, where they were given the opportunity to choose their favored side on their map pick. Now that's huge, right? Because it means on a map that you're already going to be favored on because you picked it, you now get to start on the favored side, which favors you even more, right? Problem is, they're currently losing the half on their favored side, on their favored map. And next map, Elevate have got the choice of which side they want to start on. And therefore, it will be an even more favored map towards them. So Knock Knock really need to make good on picking defense by closing out this half at the best they can now, which is even.
Interesting setup that Knock Knock have got going on for the final defense of this half as well, bringing along Mirror, but not in the mirrors that you think that they would be. There's one inside of the closet with a rotation hole as well, pretty unique. You don't get to see that kind of thing every day, but no one's playing it regardless. The cutoff on the rappel, maybe scaring that player away. Nevertheless, pretty heavy resistance on the side of trophies, on Armory as well. Envy is at the bottom of the stairs as a player inside of Armory ready to rotate into trophy. A lot of resistance over on this side of the map, and I think that's making Elevate reconsider. Instead, it looks more like a small tower side attack. They want to capitalize on this buck, be able to have Speakeasy in this position inside a kitchen safely where he can make vertical. At the same time, though, there is a player in security, and it seems like Arpe is trying to figure out who it is so he can target him with the death mark on Deimos.
Oh, nice from Speakeasy. Never mind, not so nice after all. Turns out the M590 is a superior shotgun. However, straight between the eyes. Yeah, Arpe did well. Now he's got the M590 and he's going hunting. Rattler's gone down elsewhere and Shed bait a little bit. However, Shed did manage to get that down as well. He's going to look for this. I think he knows the player is down. Yep, he does. He's worried about a refrag. Finishing off with the knife. 2v2. Very strange round we've seen so far. 2 minutes in. 4 players alive in the server. Envy and Shed both low HP. A lot of control taken from MC as well here, deep in Attic. But he's going to have to drone up and see where these last 2 players are.
This is winnable from the situation for Elevate. You look at the operators on board right now. I mean, you've got info on Grim with the zoning intel on Grim as well. And not only that, but you've got the Zero as well. So if you can get these cameras in the right places to lock out the right sets of angles, yeah, just like one like that, now they know that there is a player inside a closet. If MC can get in the right spot, there is a potential to actually land a 2 versus 1 onto that player. Although it would be pretty hard because there is still a player inside of dorms as well that could get the cutoff onto MC. If they can assess this situation right, it's very possible, but pretty tricky.
What's MC trying to play out here? Trying to make it... I'm not sure what he was trying to fake there. Player was last seen in games, but he's relocated onto the bomb. Well played from Envy. Shed, oh, he's found the first one. Surely not another grim clutch. 2 in a row for Elevate's not going to be the case. Beat is there to beat him down in that 1v1. And Knock can breathe a very minor sigh of relief as they have evened up their defensive half. But a far cry from what they were looking for on their favored side. They were looking for 4 or 5 rounds there. And as they move on to their attack, we'll see if they can do better than the last time they played Elevate.
Yeah, close round for Knock, and they're fairly lucky to get away with that one, to be honest. Yeah, the Grim almost landing the 1 versus 2 as well onto Beat, but Beat manages to land a headshot with Vector, so Knock can get away with a 3-3 half, which not a favourite scoreline on Oregon defense, but nevertheless, they will continue to work with what they've got, and Elevate instead will go over to their defending side instead and try and attempt to find some better success than what Knock did. Honestly, Dev, all things considered, Knock, they look pretty competitive in the server. They're keeping pace with Elevate. In fact, in some instances, I would even say they're setting the pace, and Elevate have been sort of trying to match that by finding these right kills or picking the right battles at the right times in the round, especially when these Knock players are getting pretty aggressive, especially with their rotations, right? You know, in that 1 versus 2, they had to keep track of the player going in through closet, rotating back out, for example. You need to keep tabs on these Knock players because they aren't afraid to show a little bit of confidence in the server. Sometimes that can help them out in a playmaking situation, but sometimes that can be to their demise too. And when Elevate have been able to keep track of that, that's when they've been able to convert these rounds.
Mostly just interested to know what kind of attack Knock are looking for. Looks like a bit of a sweep. West across sweep, very staple. A lot of teams love to do this. He's, I'm not sure where he wants to enter from. He's just putting a lot of perceived pressure around the map. So drone ahead of him. Sandy's pinching. I actually quite like this. So this is a really deep angle looking down into the stairs. However, Elevate have already fallen on back. Like they know that they've lost this map control already. Thought maybe the idea was to push any roamers back towards this east side of the map, and then typically they would eventually retreat down this stairs, so Sandy was looking to cut off that, but Elevate are playing much more passive.
So far, so good for Knock in their process. They haven't lost anyone so far into the early round or through the mid round. That being said, though, there are still 2 cheeky Elevate players all the way over in Big Tower, NHiCal and Arpe, but NHiCal decides the better of it and thinks, alright, we're going to fall off instead down into the basement as the time ticks away, thinking they've wasted enough. So for now, Knock going to get to work on some of these hatches and see where they can go from there.
Electroclaw, though, means it's going to have to be Beat that opens up that meeting hatch. Actually, a lot of secondary hard breach here. I kind of would have liked to see maybe smokes on the Ying or something. But it is the Ying I'm looking at as the main execute op. Like, we don't have the Grim, for example. We do have the Capitao and the Ying, and they'll be the two that will leverage some kind of explosion onto site, dismantling these positions. But you got the smoke, you got the C4 on the Kaid, you've got the Warden to counter the smokes as well. Like, yeah, I think that we're going to be a little bit low on time here for Knock Knock on this execute.
Yeah, absolutely. I think they're taking a little bit too much time here through the mid round. They're really trying to get open everything rather than sort of dedicating themselves to actually what push they're going for. They're trying to do everything, to go through all the checklists through the mid rounds, and it's afforded them very little time now through the execute. They haven't really had an opportunity to drone the bomb site at all. They're just going to be going straight into the Lion's Den.
But they will find at least one pick. Good trades, and it does just leave it up to Rattler and Sandy. Good swing there from Uppe. Sandy left all alone. Couldn't quite find anything. He's done a bit of damage onto Uppe. I like that there. Not only trying to use a skeleton key around the corner, but a well-played smoke grenade from MC. He's going to find a pick here, but it's just a consolation prize at this point. Oh, he's going to go deep through the smoke. MC says, hey, M590 is better after all. And Elevate with that are looking pretty solid on their defense. Quite a convincing round by the end of it, to be frank. And that does give them quite a decent lead now as well.
They do be winning their basements, Dev. They do be winning their basements. That is what we like to see from the defense on Oregon. Yeah, solid one there for Elevate, but I think ultimately it was Knock Knock probably not giving themselves enough of an opportunity there in the late round. They made quick work of the early round, but took way too long in the mid round, trying to get open absolutely everything and not actually getting themselves intel on the bomb site meant that they couldn't really plan what execute they wanted to go for. And then by the end, there was sort of like a scramble to try and get down into the basement. Didn't really work out because Elevate was so ready for it by then, and they couldn't land a competitive looking attack onto the basement. Nevertheless, it is the basement in Oregon, so if there's any opportunity to try and come back here on the attack and amount something that looks a little more competitive, or at least a little more achievable, it would be on this top floor.
Yeah, never know. Never know. I'm going to try and delve back into the archives, man. I'm going to look through the tournaments that we've seen thus far, through the history, the annals, through the every time that we have seen out Oregon played. I'm actually trying to just fill at the moment while I try and find this stat. So I want to go back and I want to see the match that these two teams played.
Okay.
So I want to see what bomb site was the one round that Elevate and Knock Knock actually won. You're going to have to bear with me, though, for a minute.
That is okay. I can talk about the round if you want to do your research. That is
Andy,
totally okay.
What do you think about this round?
What do I think about this round? Well, I think that so far, Knock Knock have got some good control inside a big tower. They've got the secondary hard breach on Envy as well, so if they want to get themselves into attic, they can. But what they're worried about right now is that there's a player inside of the basement posing a flank. I don't know who that is down there. I think it's Arpe on the Solace, who has got the gadget out and can actually see what's going on in the ground floor at the moment. He knows that there are no flank drones on him, so he's gonna sneak up into it too, and there he goes into the top floor. Oh, Envy's not looking at all. He lands the headshot and Envy goes down.
Massive
He's
pick
still
there.
doing research.
I am, but hey, I'm also watching the game because Elevate says, I don't care about your research. I'm just going to keep on swinging. And I'll be real with you. It does not bode well, the research I have done. The last time these teams played Oregon against each other, the only round that Knock Knock won in the entire game was one attack onto Kitchen and Meeting. Kitchen and Meeting. They also only found 3 opening picks in the entire map as well in the 8 rounds that we saw. So not a great look. Now, to their credit, they've already had pretty good openings in this game, but just, yeah, not on their attack. That's both attacks now where they've lost the opening pick. Both times it's been Envy. And cause for concern, absolutely. 3 versus 5, not a great position to be in. And Elevate, I really like how patient they're being here. They're not overextending, they're not overcommitting. They know we've got numbers, we can chill.
Yeah, and Cal all the way over in attic as well is going to prevent that player from entering on in through Trophy. And they're playing a very cautious game now. Nevertheless, it doesn't matter. Arpe's just realized he can go for the run out, realizing there's no claimer on that window. Jittery, though, is going to be there for the refrag. There's still a player around the corner, and Zulu, see you later. MC with the SMG-11 headshot to the face. Leaves Beat all alone in a 1 versus 4.
Yikes, that was rough, man. Look, I said Elevate were being really cautious, being really smart, but Ape, you know, he's just peeked outside twice now. He's really feeling it. Beat's essentially taking a tactical pause here. He's going to use the rest of the 20 seconds to talk to his squad. And yeah, I got to wonder, like, what do Knock Knock need to be saying right now? Elevator tempted to actually go and hunt him down. They're just bored. They're just antsy, ready to continue. He wants to farm his KD if he can. And yeah, as we move on to the one round that potentially could go in Knock Knock's favor on this attack, the most likely case, it is going to be a tertiary defense for Elevate. And this, like I said, it's the bomb site. Well, assuming they go kitchen meeting, which Elevate did last time they went to a tertiary site on this map, then yeah, we would expect Knock Knock to have a little bit more success there, but not if Elevate keeps swinging and having success in these openings.
Yeah, for sure. I think at the moment, Elevate are just starting to get into their mojo, especially on the defense. Yeah, the early picks as well coming out from Arpe. This guy's just all over the map, especially he finds the flank early on through the base, but not only that, but within 20 seconds he's all the way over on the other side of the map and is looking for a jump out into the player on the balcony as well, on the rappels and that type of thing. So it's really hard to keep track of some of these Elevate players that are starting to get really confident here, right, and just run awry throughout the entire map. Knock Knock have certainly got their work cut out for them.
That shot from MC was pretty nuts as well. Like, if you're holding that angle with the ACOG, that narrow slit, you're not expecting someone to actually beat you on that, on a quick peek like that. So yeah, well played from Elevate. At the end of the day, it was kind of just a bit of wild aggression, good fragging capability, bit of a montage that round. Knock Knock need to be ultra careful, ready to punish that aggression from Elevate, especially on a bomb site like this, right? Because in theory, Mandy, we're going, is this meeting or dining?
I think this is dining.
It's dining. Yeah, okay, interesting. So, well, firstly, credit to Elevate for flexing a little bit, because last time we didn't actually see them go to this bomb site at all. They only had one round where they were forced onto a tertiary site, and they ended up going to meeting instead. But yeah, I would like to see this from Elevate.
I'm interested to see how they play this one out. 2 barrel K combo makes me think that they're trying real hard to keep some walls closed. But what walls are they actually trying to keep closed? There was a KA charge that went out in the meeting wall, but no Rios there. I suppose they are missing a few Rios. In fact, they're missing 4 of them. So the setup, it's happening. It's still going. A couple seconds into the round, you know, it's still a work in progress. It's still a work of art happening. Nevertheless, this is pretty interesting though. Azami set up in Small Tower, and I think they've dedicated a whole player as well to the top floor of Small Tower too. Yeah, and Hykel on the Azami itself. Now, Knock Knock probably have the perfect tools to deal with this, right? They've got all the flashbangs in the world. They've got Ossa. This looks like a Small Tower sided take if I've ever seen one.
Gotta play this right though, because the thing about a power position like this is even if you do have all the tools, just one tiny little foot wrong and you mess it up. I like that from Shed as well. He's actually got vert onto that jump in as well. That's really cheeky. Actually reverse vertical, so anyone jumping in that window isn't going to be able to peek downwards and look at him because they'll be facing the other way trying to fight N-High-Cal. So that's really clever. But N-High-Cal's got to not over-peek here. Like, that is actually, funnily enough, like the most important thing. The worst thing he can possibly do is just like peek and then die without Knock Knock having to move into the building. Even if he just stays in there and it forces them in, well, he's going to find one pick regardless. That's Sandy. I think that was an attempted flash that failed. So Runegate will protect him for a moment, and in goes the blitz. Shed was distracted, really well played. And now Shed is going to try and force his way back. He takes a little damage, but he does retreat. At least for Elevate, they do have the numbers advantage, but at least for Knock Knock, they do have this map control.
Yeah, so far so good there for Elevate, to be honest. I felt like that Small Tower hold really paid dividends. Finding 2 picks, it's pretty good. But there goes Envy, straight in through Shower. Oh, and he absolutely assassinates Shed. Good night, see you later. And now we're back on a 3-on-3. Advantage that Elevate had initially gotten has been completely nullified now by Envy. as the round ticks away. There's a full minute left to go for Knock Knock to try and make the execute work.
Speakeasy's got a good gun for this, though. He saw a player for a second. I swear he saw him for a second.
Behind the shield.
Yeah. And obviously we got the Osa shields, but I thought he saw the other player as well that was running behind him.
Oh, this is going to work.
You reckon?
I think so.
He seems to have really good game sense and audio about where this player is. It is beat. He's far back. Up and needs to not overexpose. Here comes the plant. Going down. Speakeasy doesn't really have a way to deny it while there is a long angle. He has to go for the swing. He finds that first kill, but it's Envy, the last one standing, and he falls so swiftly. Ape was rewarded with his kill onto beat at the end of it. Well played from Elevate. It flipped at a moment's notice. I thought Knock Knock had that dead to rights, but no, a solid retake. Well played, well executed. And with that, Elevate, unfortunately for Knock Knock, have found themselves on map point on their opposition's map pick.
Yeah, I thought that was a valiant attempt at an execute there for Knock Knock, but to be honest, maybe the wrong one to go for with the Osa in hand. And the Blitz as well. I would have thought that with the shield setup that they'd got going, especially with the second one in the pocket of beat as well, that they might have been able to like land a more long range to execute into like the back of dining or something like that. But going deep on the Blitz, trying to capitalize off the back of that shower control that they'd been able to get, might have sort of cost them there, to be honest. It really allowed Elevate to go for the double swing onto the two players that were there. First of all, taking down the Osa really far back and then leaving the Blitz in a pretty tough situation. I don't know. Maybe I'm reading that wrong there, because if you're Blitz, you kind of want to be close up. But it does feel like it doesn't really synthesize that well with the type of execute they were going for, the Osa and the long range fights that they were trying to take. What I'm saying here is I would have liked to see Knock Knock actually force Elevate to go deeper into the site for a retake, so that the cutoff angles they were playing actually worked, is what I'm trying to get at here.
Yeah. Oh, I see what you're saying. I don't know, Mandy. It's just hard for Knock Knock. Like, they had a pretty good first half. They got their 3 on defense. We thought maybe it wouldn't be enough, and now, unfortunately, they haven't even had success on this basement. I like the move from Jittery to put the shield on his back. It just means he's not going to be visible to the Solus for a little bit longer, and this is going to be a rush. Like, at this point, you kind of just have to go for it, have to be desperate. But Highcal is actually one of the few counters. Oh,
I'm
they're
doing
changing
it.
their minds. Why did they change their mind?
They're going to rush through backstairs instead. Okay, I think you've pointed out correctly, though. And Highcal, it's on Oryx.
He's trying to duel off this, what he thinks is a pinch, but actually all the players just coming from one direction. I don't understand what Knock Knock want to play here. Like, they've pivoted for a bit of map control. They might have successfully baited Elevate back to site, which is something, but the element of surprise is gone.
Well, if you think about it, it's secretly really big brain, right? They've effectively done an inverse roam clear. By attacking the bomb site first, but not really attacking the bomb site, you've made everyone leave the top 2 floors. So really, the roam is clear. Is it secretly big brain?
Could be. This is like plans within plans. And Highcal is still here, though. And like, this is a dead crossfire as well. Jittery spots him. Ooh, that could have been a kill. That would have been pretty big. MC's still threatening here. Also, he's got the mute jam, which makes things a bit awkward for the Blitz. That's C4. No, it doesn't actually kill the Blitz. I thought with Jittery so low that would kill him, but here we go. Down from Pillar. Beats found a double. And he's still at large. Speakeasy does find one, but unfortunately elsewhere, Knock Knock begin to fall big from MC. Beat opened up this round, and he will have to close it as well. Elevate look poised to take their opposition's map pick in a convincing manner. 7-3. Knock Knock thus far unable to find an attack unless we see some serious heroics from Knock Knock. Now, we did see a clutch from the attack on this site before, earlier in this game. But that was Highcal on Elevate. And, well, ooh, there's one. But there you go. Trade on from MC. Bit of a slow start for Elevate, but they end up delivering on the promise that we expected. A dominant win on the first map of Oregon. Knock Knock, a very valiant effort. Getting their 3 rounds. It's 3 times better than they did last time against Elevate on Oregon. But, of course, it was not to be. Elevate looking very solid. Next up is Chalet, which is their map pick, and I have no doubt that they will be favorites heading into that one to take this 2-0.
Yeah, for sure. I think Knock Knock have really shown some good signs of improvement, but nevertheless, Elevate very much the titan of the region at the moment.
Very much so. Well, break is what we're going to now, as on the other side, Chalet awaits.
Gia Sao Paulo! You have waited 5 long years for Siege to come back to Brazil. Now, the Ginásio do Ibirapuera is the home to the Hammer as we get set to write the next chapter in R6 esports history. This is the 6th Invitational 2024. Vamos para San Barullo! It's Vetches Pro versus W7.
It's a tail.
be told, they continue to push, they continue to seek, and they charge into the finals of Six Invitational 2024. The grand final of the Six Invitational 2024 starts right now. Face Clan, W7M, Vamos Pastel Barunia!
And it's all falling apart for W7M once again, but it is happening for FaZe! Round away from cementing themselves as world champions from 6-1 down.
Can W7M respond?
You wanted to find him, and he finds you! Come, he made it! We cannot, we know we don't. Into red tie, he can't finish it! He's own brother! Infinite overtime is upon us! We get it! We get it! This is how legends are created! Is this the moment where we can crown a new champion, a new dynasty to be created? And yes we will! Yes we will! W7s! They cement themselves as one of the greatest of all time!
Well, it's a 1 in 3 chance.
Thanks. Is that how this works? Is it? I thought there was.
Yeah, one of us should at least get it right.
I have no idea.
This is just a guess, because I actually don't know. I did not play any of the Rainbow Six games outside of
Ready?
Siege. Someone's got it right.
3, 2, 1.
Who got it right?
Yay! It's not a question I'm answering.
Shit. I played a bit of Maestro recently, but I feel like I'm getting this wrong.
How could you get this wrong? I have no idea. This is such an easy question.
Ready? 3, 2, 1.
Oh, I did
Did you
85.
say 85?
Did you say it's 80?
Perfect. Well, actually, there's 80 in the magazine. It's 81 and 1 in the chamber.
Yeah. That's what threw me off.
Yeah, 1 in the chamber. Can't forget about the
Is
one
that
in the
why you
chamber.
typed in 81?
I did
85.
85.
Yeah, interesting. But not 86,
Which
not
was actually
81.
also wrong.
Could you imagine 180?
You don't even need to give me the multiple choice, man. I know this one. Yeah.
How do you not know this? You guys should be doing
not know this
straight
one?
away. How
Do you not know this one?
No.
3,
Some of
2,
us respect
1.
the law.
Really?
Could you explain why he's the youngest? Because he was born after the rest. Stop looking at Manny's homework.
Ready? 3,
3, 2, 1. Electrical. Or E, as we call it. Because there is technically a bomb site immediately adjacent. Oh, I know this one. Done!
Of course it's about this.
Easy. I saw Rob's answer. I can't wait to see how he reacts when he finds out that he's wrong. Easy.
3, 2,
Easy.
1.
Don't overthink it, guys. It's 30. 30 plus 1. Ah! That is not true. It is 30 because there is 30 in the bag and one in the chamber.
Ladies and gentlemen, you see this
That's
right
wrong. It
here.
is
30
wrong.
plus 1. What's 30 plus 1?
We are being trolled by Mr. I'm going to dox him right now in the content.
See, you guys are rookie if you don't know this.
I actually have no idea.
Ready? Wait. You want to cheat my homework? There you go. Ready? 3, 2, 1.
5.
It's 4.
5. Yeah!
Don't ever cheat off roll.
Yeah, okay.
If you get this wrong,
I'm just going with logic here. I don't know. I don't actually.
No.
Logic, he's not up ready, he's a player.
There is one operator that has something really long and shiny.
What? Oh, jeez.
Ready? 3, 2, 1.
Kai.
Wait, did we all run K?
Yeah, we all right, guys. Thanks for watching Big Brain 6 quiz. Guz sat down just to come back and look down the barrel. Thank you. See you soon.
Hello and welcome back to the Asia League. It's our second and final quarter-final here today, Mandy, and Elevate is already looking hot straight out of the gates, taking down Knock Knock on their own map pick, 7-3. And as we move on to Chalet, I'm pretty concerned for our South Asian friends on Knock Knock.
So am I. You would not be wrong in saying that. They looked relatively competitive in that last match on Oregon, but I think going to Chalet, it would be quite tricky. Elevate here, they look like they found their mojo, and starting out on the defending half as well will probably make things even harder. Knock Knock. Yeah, on their attacking half, they gave it a crack, I would say, but they look like they were going to amount to any really strong executes, not really. And I think starting out on the attack on Chalet makes me a little worried.
Yeah. Indeed. I would have to agree with you, particularly about the whole attacking point for Knock Knock. I mean, they failed to win a single attack out of 4 different attempts on Oregon. Now, Chalet, much more attacker-sided affair, but that does not mean that attacks are a given, especially in a matchup that is this one-sided. And yeah, just to really reiterate on what happened with the map veto, because we, as the casting team, was a little bit confused on how this worked, but it's quite complicated, so I will just give a summary. Essentially, the way that the coin flip and these teams' decisions based on the coin flip has panned out, it means that both teams actually got to pick the starting side on their own map pick. Really? That's what you're saying to me. Really, Dev? Really? That's so strange. Yes, for those of you who don't know, usually if you get to pick the map, then the opponent will get to pick the starting side. And that essentially is a way of like balancing a team like picking a really defender-sided map or a really attacker-sided map. We don't have any attacker-sided maps, so it's mostly just the defender-sided maps that matter. It's like back in the day with Theme Park, right? Super defender-sided map. If you pick Theme Park, then the other team's going to pick defense, and so it kind of discourages you from picking the less balanced maps. That doesn't apply here, because the way that this coin flip panned out, both teams are going to start on their favored side. Both teams are going to get to pick their own side on their own map. And of course that meant that Knock Knock picked defense on Oregon. They only found 3 rounds, and that was the only 3 rounds that they found in that game. And now moving on to Chalet, Elevate have chosen defense, and that is just why. Another reason why Knock Knock are really on the ropes here, Mandy.
5 seconds left.
Be honest with you, Dev, I don't get it. I don't
That's
think
right.
I've read.
Nobody in chat will get it either.
Yeah, I was just saying that for y'all at home as well. If you don't get it, neither do I. I've not read the rules closely enough to get
What's
it.
the TLDR? What's the TLDR? It sucks because Knock Knock now have to be on attack on their opponent's map pick. That's the TLDR.
Yes, that's exactly what I was about to say. The way that he's panned out now is that, yes, Elevate are defending, and that is what matters to us right now. So, Knock Knock now have to mount an attacking half. That will be quite tumultuous of an activity. And here we go. So the first thing they're going to try and achieve is getting open this snowmobile wall. Combination of the Maverick and Ace will hopefully make this fairly easy. Oh my gosh, please don't overcomplicate this. Oh, they're going to kill the bandit. That's exciting.
Yeah, interesting. Not many people would make a hole with the Maverick in the middle of the wall. Oh no, whoops. This is so awkward. But he actually takes a bit of damage. Eventually they do kill the bandit. Speakeasy. He didn't know how to make that happen. He didn't know what to do. Like, oh, okay.
Oh no, there's a player
Elevate
right
the timing! Oh no, Envy got the perfect timing to make that work. Both players run out of bullets in their primary. Envy unable to confirm the kill. Upper doesn't realize there's 2 players up here now. He's pretty screwed, but he will escape with his life somehow. Elsewhere, Shed has gone for a bit of a re-roam and taken down Sandy. So At least that's the fuse going down. What is going on? Rattler completely disjointed from the rest of his squad. And another one! Beak goes down!
Damn,
Oh
good night.
no! Yeah, good night. What a shot. No ACOG needed for Ape. He's a machine with that holo on the Vector. And now, from what was a beautiful little 5 versus 4 early pick onto the Bandit for Knock Knock is now a real tumultuous conversion as they have taken map control, some of it, but at a huge cost.
I can't believe that they've lost that from there, to be honest. That looked like an absolutely chaotic start to the round. They managed to take down the Bandits super early. Not only that, but there was absolute chaos over in Library as well. They managed to somehow rappel straight into a player, ripping down a barricade with their bare hands. And still, somehow, Elevate have come out on top of this situation. How has that happened? Nevertheless, here we are. They have been afforded control now of the ground floor, and Jittery's going to make his way into lobby. The rest of the players of Elevate, though, are going to fall back into the bomb site. Not only that, but an impact trick has come out as well, and that means that hatch inside a connector will stay closed. 20 seconds left to go for Knock Knock, and they've got to funnel their way down the main stairs, and even that's been fired off.
Yeah, I don't think there's a lot of chance here. Jittery's going to have a big entry here. A lot of patience from MC. I mean, this is losable for Elevate if they overpeak here and find freebies for Knock Knock. For example, like doing that. However, I think that was thanks to a nade. Good trade, though. That does make it a little bit more possible now for Elevate. Knock Knock, it's just Envy in a 1v2. He doesn't have a chance to plant. He won't even get swung. The round ends on time. And it's a solid first one from Elevate. Despite the initial troubles with the Bandit dying, they managed to recompose on that roam.
A very strange round there for Knock Knock. I thought they had some good things going for them, but apparently not. Elevate completely shut down their attempts at getting into the building. Mostly due to Arpe, who was really holding on to the entry points of games and Library at the same time. And yeah, unfortunately just shutting down the work that Knock Knock had done in through the early rounds. Not being able to translate it in through the mid round. I just can't believe this has happened, really, to be honest. Like, the kill onto the Bandit was so chaotic, and then Arpe comes along, finds a 3k on the roam, and it's all over. Or 2k, sorry. I can't count. That's okay.
I don't think anyone can count, really. Like, numbers are an abstract concept.
Aren't numbers like the least abstract concept? Like,
Yeah, that's what they want you to think. That's just what they want you to think. You know, they're all in on it. All of them.
Yeah, really.
They're all in on it. Yeah, they've all been colluding. You know, that's just...
I feel like,
what it is.
honestly, Dev, the only things that we've learned on the broadcast about ourselves is that we can't count to 5. Or 10, really. We just can't count in general. We've really struggled with that. And also, basic arithmetic is extremely hard to do while you're live on broadcast. Very hard.
Very true. Very true. But, you know, Knock Knock in this series can't even count to 4. So...
Well,
where does that put us?
that makes us pretty good mathematicians, if you ask me.
Thank you. Sorry, it was a little bit of a low-key roast there for Knock Knock, but, you know. Oh well, is what it is. Let's see if they can count to 4 on Chalet. That first round, like, oh man, there was a moment there where it was like, yeah, Knock Knock got this. And then there was sadness.
Alright, here we go again for Knock Knock, looking to entry into Library. There's no one actually in Library itself, but there is a player adjacent to it. That's N-High Cal, over on the Ivy Stairs, looking to hold on to the Keeper Barricade setup that he's got going for himself, but he decides to fall off after shooting his drone. Oh nope, he's going to go straight back up to the top floor again. Valkyrie cameras are going to be spotted out by the IQ of Sandy, so once they do actually make their entry, they are going to play the top floor a little bit more cautious while the intel's still up. MC's just taken a chunk of damage, I have no idea where from, while the Yin Candelas ring out onto NICal.
Oh, good bit of map control taken, I'll give him that. It's actually usually extremely difficult to take control of Library when you've got far cards. Is that Twitch Drone going to pop that mirror as well? This is really peculiar. Like, Elevates seem to be like chill with just not having this top floor control. I don't really know what they can do about it because I would have expected like C4s and stuff. They got the Valkyrie, 1 C4 already expended, another one hasn't as of yet. Oh, the second C4 just went out from Upe. It's not gone for Plantain. I didn't even hear it explode. I don't know where it's gone. A little bit of aggression there. Oh, there we go. Rattler finally finds his entry as it's quite a pivot here from Knock Knock. They've gone into lobby and they're running in through West Main. One of them is going down into the basement. That's Sandy. I don't know if he's drone this or he's got info on this, but he's lucky nobody is here. Envy's on a wild goose chase in through kitchen. They know the bomb site is over in bar. Surely they do. Well, Jittery's gone down, unfortunately. It's just a real roundabout way of getting there. Sandy's going all the way upstairs. He spots out the Azami. Look, Elevate must be bamboozled because I can't even figure out what the push is here for Knock Knock. MC, though, he's got some good information. Rattler's found a big kill on a speakeasy. Another big one for Rattler. And now Ape is locked out of the site. How does he play this? I don't think they know where he is, but it doesn't matter. Both of these doorways are castle barricaded. The diffuser has been recovered. All he's got to do is deny it. Like, realistically, if he just denies the plan, it might work. Good pre-fire, good info. Does he have information on where this plant's going down? I don't think he's going to have time to deny it through the floor, even if he did. And so he will have to retake 1v2. But there's no easy way of making this one work. He's also going to be going against a mirror window in the back of stock. So I think this round may indeed be over. Information on that first player. Needs them to peek one by one, but no, Sandy locks him in. The first attack round of the series for Knock Knock is locked in. And they're looking much better than they did in that first round.
Knock Knock really ran circles around Elevate that round on the attack. It looks like they were poised to do something direct inside a library and maybe in through the basement, but then they decided better of it. They thought, for whatever reason, that library just wasn't safe, and maybe they realized that the setup for a library was like a false sense of security type of setup because all the players of Elevate were playing like these long lines of sight facing in towards library and mezzanine rather than playing in library itself. Strategy that we've seen come into a bit more fashion these days, and instead Knock Knock went and tried to directly attack where the players of Elevate were playing instead, but by the time they actually got themselves into kitchen, Elevate had then fallen off from those positions in towards the bomb site. So yeah, Knock Knock, I mean, yeah, they effectively sort of just ran circles on a goose chase for Elevate, and it worked out because I don't think Elevate were really keeping track of the road, like the cross-map rotation that Knock Knock ended up making. And I think in all the confusion, somehow Knock Knock found a couple picks and they translated the round win. Very strange round, but they did it.
Banshee set.
5 seconds left before insertion.
Actually,
Will they find more?
the more that I think about that strat, the more that I kind of like it, to be honest. I'm not sure if that's
Really?
just yeah, I don't know if that's something that Elevate have just done like on a whim, but like you're the castle barricades in lobby,
Was
right?
it quite
So-
purposeful to rotate, to try and use the castle barricades to protect them as they entered in through West Main?
Yes,
Is
that's
that
what
the
I
idea?
thought. That's what I thought. You know, like they decided to flip the setup so that they had the castle barricades like on the inverse side to the attack, right? But like the main thing that I'm thinking is like you've got the castle barricades that are like segmenting out lobby, right? So like going for a lobby rush is like pretty tricky. But it also means then like the main points of contest are like really high traffic. Instead of like playing in it, you just watch it from afar, right? I don't know. I feel like against a team like Knock Knock, where they're probably going to go for rushes and that type of thing, it's actually not a bad idea to like lock them out of the bomb site. At least like lock out one half of it, right? Anyway, nevertheless, I'm overthinking it probably.
Well, Sandy's just gone pretty direct. He's jumped straight into Trophy. I like the usage of these E1Ds as well to try and punish Elevate's positioning. They can't make rotations while that's going on without being revealed. Speakeasy seems hyper cautious though of this one lurker who's snuck into Trophy. If he's looking the wrong way though, he could get timed here. He has a C4 opportunity, and he does take down Jittery. That's a beautiful C4 up through the floor. However, Sandy's not actually trying to capitalize on any of that movement. He's still playing quite passive.
Yeah, once again, I actually feel like Elevate have got a pretty good read on what Knock Knock are going to try and do on these attacks. They really don't look like they're willing to sweep the map at all. It's always like these direct takes, trying to face them where the Elevate players are directly in their positions towards the bomb site. And I think they've got a pretty good read on it at the moment. They've got all their players positioned up for this solar-sided take now in through Trophy as well. The entry early from Sandy got shut down pretty easily by the crossfire on the player in Solar and inside a Trophy / West Main. So yeah, I think Elevate have got a pretty good grip on the round so far, at least strategically. And it's going to force Knock Knock to try and do something different.
And part of that just comes down to the waiting game, right? Like if Rattler here finds a pick on someone that's overexposed or over-rotating, over-complicating things, then it might be very doable. But I like the way Elevate are just playing really simple, like, you know, 2 players here. Neither of them over-peaking, just looking to try and support each other. Okay, never mind, I take that back. And Hycal is about to over-peak. Might not matter, I guess, especially since Beat is in a 1v4, and this is the time for Enhyker to jump outside and jump back inside before he gets taken out. 1v4.
Another puzzling round, I think, for Knock Knock. Yeah, they really got a bit hasty, I think, on their attempts at going indirect there. I thought they essentially played into the hands of the crossfire that was being held by a couple of the Elevate players that was starting out early and towards the bomb site, ready for that rush to come on through. And yeah, left in this numbers disadvantage puts Elevate in a really great spot. Ape has just been flying on our windows for the entire series, and yeah, he can claim the last one as well.
Ape's a bit of a gamer. He really went off on Oregon in particular. Actually went 10 and 8 kills in not very many rounds. MC actually was the one that top fragged that first game. Actually survived 6 of the 10 rounds that they played and got 11 kills while doing it as well. Quite impressive. MC and Ape having a good day. As for Knock Knock, it's actually Rattler who seemed to frag out in those first couple of rounds. He was the bottom fragger. He got 2 kills in the entire of Oregon. He's already beaten that here on Chalet. I want to see Knock Knock continue firing up. Like, if they can get 3 rounds of attack here, I honestly wouldn't call it done. I think that if they can string together 2 more, that could be a win for this half. And moving on to their defense, which clearly is their favored side. Like on Oregon, they found 3 defenses. Then, yeah, maybe there is a decent shot of pushing us the distance. And if we do go to quarter, I don't know where that puts Elevate, right? Like if they fumble this. Of course, long way away. Just speculating. Elevate have looked reasonably solid here, but I think they've been pretty confused by some of these attacks of Knock Knock, right, Andy? Like, it's quite hard to read how Knock Knock are playing at the moment.
Yeah, Knock Knock, they're doing some strange things. I'll give you that. It's really hard to read the pacing of the round, I think. But in that last round, Elevate looks really ready. Maybe I'm just reading into the way that they were playing in the previous one too much, but I think as the attacks have started to go on, they are getting more of a feel for what Knock Knock will do here. Now, Knock Knock have actually elected to sweep the map this time around instead of do something direct, which is probably a tough call here, especially with the way that they've got the display shield set up from MC, who I believe is playing with the ACOG at the moment. And all the Valkyrie cameras that face this side of the map as well, right? We were on board with Ape through the prep phase, and he was essentially setting up all of his info inside a library, inside a mezzanine. So if Knock Knock actually push into this, Elevate are going to know exactly where they are, and they've got the perfect lines of sight to deal with the setup going down as well. So yeah, this is a tough sweep for Knock Knock. I really feel like they're playing into the strategy for Elevate, but that's a nice cutoff from Jittery.
Unfortunately, he does miss his opportunity. Don't blame him, though. It was a very fast retreat there. Well played there from the defense. But good progress from Knock Knock to their credit. Like you can see 3 players established. Ape's down below. Does he have a C4? No, he's actually got impacts. Never mind. I mean, he could double impact if he spots a player, but I don't think he's going to get to that position. He is still tempted to play down below. Oh, info. That's a nice info on Mez.
Oh, there's a player there. Oh, he gets taken out. Speakeasy through his own lines of sight, somehow gets taken down by Sandy on the entry, and wow, doubling down as well as Rattler.
Yeah, this is really solid. Fortunately for Elevate, they do find 1 trade on back, and Ape feels the need to look for more. He does get his. This has been extremely chaotic. He's looking for more again! And he is traded on back. He gets a little bit greedy there, doesn't retreat in time, but nor does he go for an impact to secure that kill, which he potentially could have done. Doesn't matter, because then Highcal has gone for a wall bang and taken down the player on the fluke balcony. Now up to Beat to try and pick up Sandy and salvage this one, but oh, they know about it. There's info on it. Thank you, Valkyrie. Might gift a kill, might gift the round. MC farms once again. And Elevate redeem a round that really did not look like it should have been theirs, forcing the tactical timeout from Knock Knock.
Yeah, I think like I pointed out at the start of the round, it felt a lot like Knock Knock were playing into the setup that Elevate had set up for them over in Library. The way that they had entered in and loitered around in Mezzanine and inside a library just didn't feel safe. And all the info that the Valkyrie cameras are giving out through the mid-round enabled those mid-round plays. Like Ape, for example, re-aggressing inside of Library Box. He was able to make that play and he knew exactly that this player was prone here because there's a Valkyrie camera there. Same thing with this Mezzanine pickup that's going down. There's a Valkyrie camera in the top of Mezzanine and MC is able to go in, get the double kill as the pickup is happening. So yeah, for Knock Knock, I think probably not assessing their options early on enough in through the prep phase and through the drone phase for these guys on the attacking half, and they keep choosing to do these attacks that are kind of playing into the resistance of the defense for Elevate.
So what's the tactical timeout really going to net for Knock Knock, do you reckon? Like what are they going to change their philosophy completely? I guess they could probably have a decent hint that we'd be going down to the basement. That said, Elevate have had a few chances to go to the basement, and they didn't go back to it. Well, I guess they had last round. Instead, they decided to go to a fourth different bomb site. Knock Knock's probably expecting at this point it's going to be basement, because, I mean, it's either that or bar, and I don't see why Elevate would go back to bar when they've lost it already. So Knock Knock thinking about their basement attack. Hopefully they're talking about just forming up on like a more simple win condition, because I think last time they got a little bit too overzealous at hunting those roamers, right? They found a pick on the roam, they found a pick on site, and then when they thought they could find more picks on the roam, they ended up feeding and dying to up, getting a 2k.
10 seconds to go.
I think for Knock Knock, I would like to have seen them slow down. I think in the early round, they have this tendency to overcommit in the early game to one point of entry without really thinking very hard about it. And I think it's cost them a lot of rounds so far. You know, for example, that last round, playing straight into library, into the mezzanine, all the walls around you open, it's not safe. Even in the round prior, trying to go for a direct take, yeah, there goes N high Cal.
That's insane, man. Like, not only is he ballsy to peek that rock in the first position from the double window, but he jumps out. Insane eyesight to be able to see that. I certainly couldn't see that kill on my feed.
You need new eyes. We cannot see.
Well, you've got glasses. You've got an excuse. I don't have an excuse. I probably need to go to the optometrist.
Yeah, I don't know. Yeah, Knock Knock, I would really like to see them actually properly assess what they're trying to do, because I think every round they've brute forced their way on in. Sometimes, especially in Rainbow Six, brute forcing isn't always the way. Thinking is important.
Well, Speakeasy's given the Bandit license over to MC. He said, look, last time I got killed by a Maverick, so I'd rather not do that. This is good. Oh, beautiful read. I think? Yeah, okay, so nice job. Actually, good coverage. So the fuse charge did actually detonate, but then it was shot by Speakeasy after it drilled into the wall. And that meant that only one of the pucks actually detonated. End of the day, they do get a breach using Fuse's secondary hard breach, but I still think that was decent value out of it for MC.
Yeah, absolutely. I think you wasted plenty of time. There's only a minute that you left on the clock here for Knock Knock. And really, the only point of entry that they've made is in through library, through the top floor, and the rest of Elevate have used that time now to fall back into the bomb site and play in the safety of the backside of the site. Not even like that, but there are still 2 players in the ground floor, in fact. So if Knock Knock elect at this point to do their overthought, like, random flip of the map, then yeah, they'll be facing some resistance. Okay, never mind. The rest of Elevate have decided to fall back into the bomb site too. So yeah, this is where I'd actually like to see Knock Knock actually ever think about what they want to do and they execute. They got 50 seconds left to do it. That is some planning time.
My concern though, Mandy, here is that we've got the Maestro on the board, which Knock Knock know about. Oh, speaking of knowing, doesn't matter if you can see him. Arpe's got the long angle, beautiful shot there. And Knock Knock are really on the ropes now. There's a Maestro on the board, and they have no way of dealing with it. None of these operators left up have any util to counter these Evil Eyes. You see them keep pinging them.
He's on the bubbles.
He's on them right now. And Rattler's got to deal with this keyword barrier he can't deal with. Oh my god, get destroyed! Beat now being teased on out. Evil Eyes pinging him. He sees it. Bubble sees him. Upbe's hungry for more. They all just go marching forward, jumping out the breach. Elevator well and truly fired up, and they are looking to dominate here. 4-1 up on Chalet.
Yeah, that was arguably the least competitive round I think we've seen so far on the attacking side for Knock Knock. They were completely shut down in everything they tried to do. Not only did they lose out on the minigame on the wall, until eventually they got the secondary hard breach charge out, but by the time they actually did enter into the bomb site, Arpe was there to greet them. By the time they tried to make the push work down into the basement, the rest of the team was there to meet them, and they were under the eyes of the Eagle Eye the entire time. What on earth is that?
I can't believe he lost that,
I can't believe he's lost that. How has that happened? Oh no.
How's it happened, eh? How's it happened? What's going on here?
I can't believe you've done this.
I was watching some EUL and listening to Democast is so fun.
Yeah.
It's just his accent. I love that, man. He's like, what's that then? I can't do it. What's that then? I don't know. I can't
The Brits are so weird. I can say that because I'm half Brit, but they're so weird.
Yeah. Yeah, look, you've even got a passport, don't you, you cheeky one?
I do.
I'm jealous.
Do. Yes.
I'm jealous.
I mean, it doesn't mean much anymore, but we don't go into the politics in the broadcast. Yeah.
Yeah, let's exit that conversation as
Exit
quickly as we went to
conversation. Yes. Oh god. Anyway, pointers.
I'm kind of proud of that one.
That's terrible. All right, yeah, no more political talk in the broadcast. That is our badge. That is the end of it. Elevate are looking really good on their defense so far of Chalet. Oh my gosh, that is a really interesting keeper.
It does kind of block part of the window angle. I call that jigsaw, that window. Of,
yeah.
Yeah, all-made jigsaw.
Absolutely. Yeah.
It does block a lot of it, actually. It doesn't completely block it. Like, someone crouching could peek underneath that keeper. But it does block that really, like, finicky angle from the snow bit of the roof there. But it can counter it easily with the DMR.
MC is going to be playing in the dark corner of library instead, as will I, the perfect operator to be playing here once the burn does come through. Keep in mind that Capital gadgets do get caught out by Wilmai, so thankfully he's not Jaeger. Flashbangs are going to be sent on through. Invi's on the other side with the Capital bolt, and he's going to send that one through as well. He does start to land the burn onto MC. He thinks he can't keep with his life, assuming that he's not Doc.
He doesn't know. He does not know that he has escaped. They have to redrone it, unfortunately. No one was on that angle. No one was able to get that shot onto him on time. Oh my god, Shed!
That is
brave. The Mad Lad! He just crossed straight over 2 lines of sight. Goes back into the deep corner after he was droned out. Unfortunately for him, he's going to go straight into a nade, and he will die. And Haikal, though, has found his kill and is actually retaking a very aggressive position. Like, Elevate, this is pretty disrespectful, to be honest. Like, the way that they are disregarding obvious lines of sight and playing in cheeky positions, they don't think that Knock Knock's going to win. But apparently Sandy wins that fight regardless. A good trade from Ape and hungry for more once again. Now, Elevate have numbers advantage. Knock Knock both low HP. This is very awkward for them.
Yeah, so chaotic as well on through the top floor. I mean, the first clear came out, the second clear came out, but in the midst of all the chaos clearing out one corner of library, somehow the rest of Elevate are able to find picks onto players on windows, barely even in the building. Now there's only 2 players left of Knock Knock, on pretty low HP as well. It's looking not too good, Dev. It's looking rough.
In it.
In it.
Not too good, in it. So what do Envy and Jittery do? Jittery wants to rotate. He knows that there's a player in office, so he wants to take this 1v1. Smart move. Oh my god! Timing, mates! He's going to watch that back and actually punch his monitor in.
No, we've already had a player do that. Don't encourage them to do another one.
Stop watching Jinxie, guys. Stop watching Jinxie. Alright, here's the one pick for Envy. I don't think he's going to get anything more than that. He's going to have to sprint to site. Even if there were no defenders, I don't think he would get to site in time. Especially not with a goo in his foot, and he will die to that goo mine. That is pretty sad. And we get to see instant replay. Ugh. Unfortunate for him. 5-1 half, Mandy! Elevator straight up farming. Like, this is not even a contest on Chalet. Oregon, bit of a contest. Chalet, not so much.
Yeah, absolutely not. Oregon looked relatively competitive in some parts of the map, but this one has really just not looked competitive at all. Elevate have been absolutely farming these guys in the server in every way possible, both in their setups. Knock Knock just really didn't look like they had the understanding of how to deal with a lot of these at all, except for, I suppose, clearing out library, so there's some fundamentals going down there, but for the most part, yeah, Elevate look really confident, willing to re-aggress into some of these positions and take the gunfights, be ballsy about it. And it's really shut down Knock Knock.
Location of a bomb.
So what do they do on defense? Go to bar first up. Yeah, I can see that working potentially. Ooh, Envy. This is a nice little... How long is he going to struggle? Oh, he's not going to waste too much time doing that. It is cool though, if you can get that to land, but presumably halfway through the deploy, like, the game detects that you're not standing on anything and it gets it off. But yeah, it's a cool idea. That would be quite hard to... I I mean, I guess it doesn't really matter, to be honest. Like, you just shoot it.
Yeah.
You're an attacker. It's not like you have to knife them anymore. So, doesn't really matter.
Should you have to knife Malusi's?
No.
I don't know why. Viper, sorry. I've had this conversation. I've had this very argument with some friends recently, okay, about whether
here we go.
Malusi should have a nerf inverted or reverse, sorry. Anyway,
No, I
LS.
think Ape needs a nerf. He's too good.
I
He's
think
just
he
too
definitely needs
good.
a nerf.
Look at this guy! Look at this dude! He's going big. He's going Ape shit all over site. In a 3 versus 4, Knock Knock look to try and stave off match point. Elevate poised to really knock on the doors of those semi-finals. And what can the defense do from here?
I don't think you can say that, Dev. That's not fair. Elevate, they're looking pretty good. Once again, one of those I've completely lost it after that one. MC is the perfect operator to deal with Envy in his position as well. I absolutely lost him. Sorry.
I'm glad that I'm keeping you entertained at least, Mandy. Because Elevate have entertained me, that's for sure. I want to see a bit more out of Knock Knock. Here we go,
Oh, we're
Shed.
doing it.
Yes, flash. Okay. Oh, that looks cooked here, mate. Watch this. No, not flashed. Okay, those magnets. Well,
MC is in, I think. Maybe he's not.
No, he's out.
I thought he was.
Here's
he's
the
not.
Cappy.
He
could
knows.
force the Malusi into his line of
knows.
sight and go to take that fight.
I think he's going to wait for a mate to come over. And then they're going to do... Oh, no, he's not. He's just going to do this. That's... Oh, ooh, that was a good try. Oh, it works out anyway! And Hightail's all the way down to the ground before he jumps in. Beats there for the refrag, though. 2v2.
Yeah. Oh, no, he's dead. I was going to cook something up, but Elevate have
so
just
exciting.
steamrolled on the side. Back and forth, Mandy. Like, Elevate just like, 3, 2, 1, go! I'm going to fire him. You're going to jump in the side. We're going to blitz them. We're going to roll over them. And Knock Knock now. 5 rounds in deficit, Mandy. It's going to have to be the comeback of a lifetime. We saw a big upset from them yesterday, and they just got a mere point out of their game against Jalita. But can they actually come back from something like this? I think it is far too much to ask for.
Yeah, no, definitely not. This game is over, I reckon. Elevate look in complete control at the moment. I don't really know what else to say, to be honest. I don't want to overanalyze it at all. They just look phenomenal right now. Ape's just walked into the bomb site and got 2 kills. Damn, that's crazy.
Well, let's see if changing up the bomb site meets any more success for them. At the end of the day, not only is this Elevate's map pick, and there's the extra stress on Knock Knock of this being match point, elimination point, like 3, 2, 1, you're out. One more round and you're done. The chance of going to the major, the chance of going to a semi-final, let alone a grand final, and actually fighting for that major spot in Manchester, that's done. But on top of all that, like, this has just been quite a one-sided affair, and I think that in itself is pretty dejecting. I think Knock Knock would have been pretty fired up after that match yesterday, getting a point off Jalita. Perhaps Jalita going down today maybe recontextualizes that a little bit. I don't really want it to. I want to give Knock Knock something to fight for. And I want to see South Asia thrive. But sadly, it's been so challenging for them to make these games competitive.
Ape in for the entry. What are you
Ouch.
doing in library? Okay, it doesn't matter. It works anyway. He's standing right in the middle of the room, but lands the headshot, does jittery, and that's Ape going down. Now, Ape has been pretty lethal in the server, so if there is any player that you want to take down early, it is him. And the rest of Elevate are going to look to try and pick up the pieces. And iCal on a cutoff at the moment, they seem pretty aware of that.
Ooh, this is a freebie. This is a freebie. Sandy, be careful. Okay, no, he does move just out of the way in time. However, Jittery is overpeaked. Sandy, completely unaware of how exposed he is to this window. Oh, jump in from Shed! Elevate collapse on the site at the drop of a hat, but Speakeasy has been taken down. Diffuser, cold on the grounds. Oh, but Shed's found the timing. He's found the down and the kill. Rattler in a 1 versus 2 to stave off elimination for Knock Knock. with death knocking at their door. Can they pull through? Can they come up big? And Haikal's got the diffuser. Is repositioned. He knows he can play with his teammate. Good coverage from Shed, who's already found a big entry. 2 big entries in this game. That smoke ain't gonna matter. It's too little, and it is far too late. He spots out one player. They're down! It's a 1v1. I think he knows it, and Haikal locks in and locks out. Knock knock. A spot in the semi-finals confirmed for Elevate. This European Southeast Asian mixture is not done just yet, and they have a rematch scheduled with Fury in the semi-finals.
You said it right at the start, baby. Knock knock, who's there? It's Elevate. They're back in the server. They're looking good and ready for that semi-final. It's going to be a pretty epic rematch going into the best of 3 next week. I'm really excited to see them play. They look absolutely fired up right now.
Sorry, my hair's getting a little bit too excited at the 6 rounds in a row that Elevate just won to take their spot in a semi-final. Big ups to Knock Knock. They gave it their all. Oregon was a little bit more of a contest, but Chalet was nobody's game but Elevate. Big win for them, as I'm sure the guys will break down on the desk.
Well, what do we say, gentlemen? Do we say expected? Do we say unfortunate for Knock Knock, guys? What camp are you in?
I think, honestly, it's probably elements of both, right? At the end of the day, Elevate and all the numbers suggested that we were going to see a result akin to this, which does mean, unfortunately, for Knock Knock, they're on the receiving end of it. I think they fought valiantly at times. It wasn't a complete stomp, and on Oregon, defensively, quite sound, a 3-3 split. You take that. Fortunately, from that point onwards, very much Elevate's game. Obviously, clean defensive from them, 4 rounds in a row, and then only a singular round on the second map in response from Knock Knock. So good job from Elevate, and certainly build some confidence for them going into their match against Fury.
Xenox, look, some games are just games, and unfortunately for Knock Knock, they do have to kind of brush this one off as just a game. What are the positives you're taking away for Elevate in this one? I know it's tough to look at these games and really take, you know, I guess elements of it out to really push forward with Elevate, but do you have anything you saw that impressed you or excited you for the future?
For Elevate or Knock Knock?
Elevate. Sorry about that.
There's a lot of things that excite me about Elevate. I think they're a good team. They got through this pretty comfortably. I think for Knock Knock, the fact that they even just got to the playoffs is kind of step one. I kind of kept touting throughout a lot of stage 1 that was always going to be a learning stage for a lot of the South Asia teams, including Daystar too. Not from South Asia, but I think similar level, similar pedigree. And I think they learned a lot this stage, or at least hopefully they did. And as much as they would have learned from the group stage, and as we got to the end of the group stage, there were certainly elements where we started to see them get a bit more competitive. Best of 3, finals, whole different, you know, playing field, and in the end, Elevate way too good. And I think for Elevate, they've got themselves a matchup as well that I think they should favor. Well, not favor. They'll back themselves in, though, against Fury. Fury, I think, going as the favorites, but internally, Elevate will feel that's a matchup they can win.
I think one thing we mentioned coming into this, guys, was the focus on Elevate obviously performing to a high standard and to ensure that their ceiling was as high as it could be going into Fury's game. I guess we looked at this as kind of a bit of a runway for them to take off, you know, for the actual semi-final, for the grand final, should they be able to make it. Are you in high hopes now after seeing this? Do you think they will actually get the best of Fury?
I think Fury probably... it's a tough one. All the numbers suggest that Fury do just edge out, but it is very, very close. How much do you take away from today? Honestly, not that much, outside of the fact that it was dominant from Elevate. In terms of translating their playstyle and what they brought into the server today into that Fury match, you've got to be so careful, because Fury are going to punish you far more than Knock Knock naturally will inside of the server. I think that goes without saying. And also, and I'm sure we'll touch on it before the game, but quickly noting it now, Fury took down Elevate 7-0. That was a real messy performance from Elevate, by far their worst game so far in the stage. But it has proven to be maybe just a flash in the pan. That was just a one-off. Perhaps we won't see Consulate in that best of 3, or they'll just let it slide and give that to Fury as their preference map. Not too sure. But as in terms of translating today to that match, yeah, I mean, you take elements of it. I think Arpe had a great day. It's not every day of the week Arpe's posting huge numbers, so big takeaway there. And if they can have those players activate in the Fury match, it could be enough to turn the tide.
Well, I know for a fact Shed's been able to hear all of that, so you've just opened up an old wound for him. Let's welcome in Shed after a very impressive performance. Shed, we'll talk about Fury in a little bit. We'll talk about the semi-final in a little bit. I know it's hard to digest. Well, not digest, but really kind of rip apart what just happened then. I actually want to know, previous to this, what's the mindset going into a game like this? I don't think that it would be rude to say that, you know, you guys were heavy favorites heading into this, but what is the mindset? What are the preparations looking like?
For today, well, we weren't actually expecting to play really because we kind of backed ourselves to a win yesterday, and then after we lost, we had a very long talk, a very long sit down, a lot of mistakes we made, and I think the goal today was just to fix those mistakes we made yesterday and just keep working on them, and that is the plan going forward for the next week for like practice, like just a lot of things we need to fix, we need to work really hard, and it didn't matter who we were playing today. Our goal was just to play our best and fix those mistakes that we were making.
You can't make that many mistakes, clearly. There's only one slot from Asia League to get to the major. You're aware of that. You play Fury next week. Do you have that pressure going into a best of three like that? No offense to Knock Knock, but Fury's going to be considered a team of higher caliber. Is that a kind of game where you've kind of just got to block out all the external noise, just got to treat it like any other game?
I mean, it kind of takes the pressure off us. Like, they're the regional favorites. They won every stage last year. So for us, it's like we're the underdogs, and that takes a lot of pressure off, you know. So I think we'll be fine.
Heading into that game, I'm actually looking at your attacking win rate compared to Fury. Fury, for instance, 58%. You guys are trailing at 53. I don't want to beat a dead horse too much, but you did have that 7-0 loss. Obviously, you guys didn't get an attacking round against Fury on console. Is that going to be a focal point and something that you guys are going to be working on over the next week?
Yeah, we have a lot of things to work on, attacks and defense, like mistakes that we're making. But yeah, I mean, to be honest, we need to improve everything at the moment. It's still really early days for us, so we need to improve attack, we need to improve defense, like same. Yeah.
Sounds like you obviously know that there are things that you know, you need to focus on. One thing that kind of I'm getting from this, well, the question I want to ask you is, where are you sitting as a team at the moment? Because you know, after a very convincing 2-0, expected a little bit more chipper from you. So what's the feeling like in the camp? Is everyone feeling okay? Are they feeling like, you know, there is more to focus on than just this series?
Yeah, we're very happy with the result. But
Yep.
I don't want to bash the other team, but it would have been kind of crazy if we didn't win. So like, we're not crazy hyped about it, but I think we're definitely happy.
Yep.
I think we're moving in the right direction after yesterday. But yeah, you know, spirits are good. The main thing is just we all want to get better, and we all want to just improve as much as we can this next week for Fury.
Well, that's the beauty, right? You got a good test ahead of you. So we'll leave it there, mate. Do you have anything you want to say before we let you go?
No, GG's. Well played to Knock Knock, and see you guys next week, hopefully.
Perfect. Thank you very much, mate. Best of luck.
See you, mate.
Bye-bye.
All right, multiple things to be working on, multiple things to be focusing on, Xenox. But overall, I mean, that I feel like Elevate are probably in the camp that we expected them to be in, right? A loss after yesterday has kind of left them with a little bit more of a self-realization that this is not going to be easy, that they do now have to double down.
Yeah, potentially. I mean, I think subdued celebration for a reason. I also think that the beauty of the format that we've got, there's a week to improve and VOD review and look at where the mistakes went last time against Fury and what they can do to improve themselves. You got to remember as well for Knock Knock, they were ultra competitive yesterday against Chalet, and I think I actually should have won that game. They had to fight tooth and nail for them today. Maybe it's a different circumstance. They're in the playoffs. They already gotten that goal. I'm sure the goal for the South Asia teams would have simply just be competitive and make playoffs. So once you've kind of reached that goal, the next step is just kind of play for fun and see what happens. And when that mindset shifts, this is the result you get. So that's going to be the learning. And the next step in stage 2 for a team like Knock Knock and those from South Asia is to try and go one step further. I paid the MVP for today. I mean, I think you could have probably picked a few for Elevate. It was a pretty solid team performance, and it was a very dominant performance too, which was really good to see. And I know that we didn't kind of mention it there in the interview, but you can beat these teams and beat them well and comprehensively, or you can kind of just scrape through. And I thought the way that they got the win was a really good sign going into next week's game.
Yeah, really is probably the conversation of how they've done it, right? That's the positive to take away. That's the focus that we needed coming out of this series. So Elevate well and truly breeze past Knock Knock, and I mean,